Hello friends, my name is Steve and this is Steve Talks Books. Thanks for coming by and watching my weekly update. It's where I talk about what I've been reading, what I'm going to read, stuff I have planned for the week. I also like to hear about what you've been up to, so let me know down below what you're reading, what you're listening to, what you're watching. It's a way for me to hear about you and what you're doing, and also a way for me to add to the shelves behind me. I should probably do less of that. But if you're new here, I typically read grimdark and horror. Lately it's been more grimdark and horror, but I'm open to any genre. I do read thrillers or nonfiction or traditional fantasy from time to time. Just depends on how I'm feeling, but I'm not closed to any genre. I also like to talk to people. You may have noticed that on the on the channel. That I like to hear different perspectives and talk to people and hear about their experiences and kind of get to know them a little bit. And it helps me learn and gain perspective for myself, and I hope you all enjoy those as well. So let's start with what I read last week. Last week, I did finish Lily. It's the 6th book in the Nightmareland Chronicles. Our group has been reading each book of the series, and then we come and we meet with Daniel Barnett. So we've been doing that every couple weeks, and it's a little bittersweet that we're at the end of, I guess, season 1. It's the last book that's been released. So it was fun, but it's also a little sad because it's the last time we'll do it for a while. But Lily, it's I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but it'll stick with you for a while. It'll stick with you for a while. It's when I saw the crying emojis all over social media for it, I knew it was going to be something, but I didn't know it was going to be yeah. Also this week I started Gardens of the Moon. It's the first book in the Malazan Book of the Fallen. I'm starting that series this month, and we're having a meetup later this month to discuss the first book. I had DNF'd it last year. I just got into fantasy, and I wasn't really following it. I was struggling with it, so I put it down. And this year, since I've read a lot more fantasy, I thought I'm ready to. I kind of took it as a challenge to give this one another shot. And it's funny because I remember some of the things that happened, and the way that I see things now, the things I pick up on are different than the things I picked up on last year. There's things I remember that I may not have picked up on now. So it's interesting to reread like that. You notice things you didn't necessarily notice the first time. So it's been fun. It's really dense. It's, I sat there and read for a long time, and I thought, I've read easy, like 70, 80 pages. And I had read like 40 pages. And that's not a complaint. It's just, it's very dense. You have to be actively reading, or at least I do, to follow along. And I've heard a lot of people say that this book is kind of difficult to get into because we come in the middle. It's almost like we come into the middle of everything. And what it reminded me of is kind of like when you go to like, you walk up on a table, you go to someone's house and they're talking about people you don't know, but they talk to you about them like you know who they are, and you're confused and trying to understand what the hell they're talking about. That's kind of the way I felt starting this book. Is there's all this huge world that's just there, and you just kind of come in the middle of it. Like you walk in the door and they're mid conversation, you just kind of jump in. And I'm about 122 pages in. I think it's been slow going, but I deliberately set this up this month so I can take my time with it. I'm not going to be in a big rush. I'll finish it when I finish it. I have another 2 weeks, so no rush. I'm going to just soak it in and enjoy the ride for this one. So this week, I plan to continue reading Gardens of the Moon, and if I do finish it this week, I hope to finish it mid-week is kind of my goal, is like my loose goal. But when I do finish that, I'm not sure what I'm going to start next. It's either going to be Echoes of Blood by Halo Scott, or The Darkness That Comes Before by R. Scott Baker. So I'm not sure which one yet. I might take a break from the fantasy for a book or two with Echoes of Blood. So I'm not sure. We'll see how I feel, but I'm going to read both of those this month. I'm just not sure when. And we are planning on, I think Stacy's reading The Darkness That Comes Before with me. So I'm not sure. We haven't set a date yet. So we'll see how that works out, but kind of up in the air. It was a fun week on the channel. The interview I had with LJ Doherty posted that I had recorded the previous week. And also I had an interview with Faye, whose pen name is Sienna Frost. She's the author of Obsidian Awakening. And it was funny because we had scheduled it. She's in Thailand, and we had scheduled it for 7 o'clock a.m. her time, which was 5 o'clock p.m. my time, for February 4th. So I thought, in my mind, February 4th was Friday. Friday, February 4th at 5. So I thought Friday, I have this interview. And I'd plan my whole week around it. And I just happened to be sitting here Thursday. I was reading Guards of the Moon. I had my feet up on my desk. And, you're kind of getting into it. You're kind of settling in for the evening, kind of get my reading time in. And I noticed a notification on Twitter, and I looked. And it was from Faye. Said, well, I'm kind of like, I'm ready when you are. And it dawned on me that it's February 4th for her. It's still February 3rd for me. So I thankfully I was just kind of hanging out, and so I just had to get set up really quick. And then another fun thing that happened was once we did get set up, there was something weird with the StreamYard where on my side I could see myself, but her video box was just black, so I couldn't see her. I could hear her, I couldn't see her. She could see both of us, so I couldn't see her the whole time. So we tried to fix it, and then finally it's just like, we're just going to go with it, because when I recorded it and played it back, you could see both screens. So I thought we'll just go with it, and I'm not gonna, I'll just do this kind of blind. And it was different. It was a different experience because she could see me, but I couldn't see her. And there's certain cues you pick up on as you're talking to someone, whether it's for an interview or just in general conversation. You're just talking to someone. There's those cues that we all have that you can know when they're done talking, or when they're smiling, or when they're not. Or so it was a different experience. So I could not see her the whole time. So I was trying really hard to not interrupt or start talking too early, or kind of judge her reactions to the questions by the sound of her voice. It was really strange, but it was a lot of fun. But we talked about what inspired Obsidian Awakening, what kind of her view on writing, how the cultural differences between the West and Asia and different cultures, how those different tendencies and how the different cultures impacted how she wrote the story, and her viewpoint on writing, and some of her experiences traveling. And we talked a ton of stuff. It was really, really, really interesting conversation. And that's why I love these interviews so much, because some of them are more like entertainment, like we talk books, we talk movies, we talk other fun topics. Sometimes we'll get it deeper into other, like history, or we'll talk, travel, or we'll talk. I mean, all of them are different in some way, and that's what I really like about it, is that they're all different, and they all have a different feeling to them. And I've been pretty fortunate with the one-on-one interviews that everyone's been really, really nice. I mean, I think, some people you can connect with faster than others. That's just, no one's fault. It's just sometimes it takes you a while to kind of get into a groove. But Faye talked about characters, killing characters, about breaking characters, about her experiences with some nomadic tribes, and how that shaped, how that kind of changed her view on writing, and also how Richard Nell changed her perspective on life and on writing. So that was a really, really great conversation. I had a really great time. We could have gone on for a lot longer, but I think we're going to try and do it again sometime. And if you do watch the interviews, I want to thank you for your support. And if you have trouble watching long form discussions like that on YouTube, they're all available on my podcast. So they're on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, some other ones I can't remember. I can never remember. But if you go to the Buzzsprout site down below, you can download the file there, or you can click the link to whichever platform you prefer to listen on. Amazon Music is another one I think it's on. So that's all available there if you missed it. But a really, really great time, and thanks to all of you who have been supporting those. I have a really, really fun time doing them. Also, last night we had our Lily discussion with author Daniel Barnett. Like I said, it was a little bittersweet because we had been meeting every couple weeks. So it was great to chat about the series with him that's been written so far, but it's also a little sad because we won't be doing it again. But that is spoiler filled, so don't watch that. If you have not read Lily, don't spoil yourself. It's one of those ones you do not want to be spoiled on. So don't watch that if you haven't read Lily yet. So also yesterday, my video with Voices from the Mausoleum was posted. It was posted on both of our channels. Our announcement video, we'll be doing a collaboration that we'll be posting every other Thursday on Angel's channel with we'll talk horror movies. So the first video that we've already recorded is our top 10. We each picked 5 movies that recommendations for non-horror fans. So horror movies that non-horror fans can enjoy, kind of dip your toes into this genre. We didn't pick anything too violent or gory, but I did have a couple on my list that are a little darker. So shocking, right? But they're a little to the darker side. So if you're kind of like me, that you like the darker tones and kind of the more brooding type of stories, check that out. Also, this morning we had a discussion for Best Served Cold over on Yolene Reeves' channel. We met with Jose from Amazing Worlds and we chatted Best Served Cold. And I always like these discussions because you get different perspectives on the book. And I walked away from that discussion with a different viewpoint on the book and things I hadn't considered before. And that's what I really like about these discussions is you get all these different viewpoints and it changes your perspective on the book. So no new books this week. So hopefully one of these days someone will reach out to me. I should probably keep announcing it to everyone on Twitter or other social media platforms that I'll announce your book. It's fun to do that. I think it's kind of neat to announce books that are coming up, but I think there's a couple that are on the way that authors have told me that they'll let me know when we get closer. So we'll see how that goes. Something that I wanted to ask all of you about and get your viewpoint on it is, something I noticed that, when we read Oh Pain, it was the short story Saturday pick of the month. I read that with Lauren from Paperback Empire. And when we came to discuss the book, Oh Pain, it's a strange fiction, weird fiction, I believe is the name, kind of short stories. And we tried to find, the stories are really strange. They're really weird stories. And we both had different ideas on what the story was about. And we both picked up different things from the story. We both picked out from our own experiences and our own viewpoints. We found different things in the story. And Kyle Winkler, the author, unfortunately couldn't make it to the meetup. He had a family emergency at the time, but he posted on Twitter after that there's really no point to the story. It's just fun. It's just entertainment. It's just throwing things out there. There's nothing under the surface, that there's no hidden meaning to it. And that kind of struck me a little bit as, it's a different reading experience when there's not something there to grab onto. And in my interview with Faye, she discussed how the Western cultures differ from the Asian cultures, that the Western culture tend to look for meaning in everything. We try to look for things to try to make sense of it all. We try to find what does this mean? And that's when I saw her say that, when I saw her post that on Twitter, I thought, it's true. I do that. And it kind of had already, I already kind of noticed it with Oh Pain, is I look for these things when there may be nothing there. So I thought that was an interesting perspective, and that she had mentioned that the different other cultures just accept things for what they are. This is life. Like they don't look for, generally. I mean, I'm not. It's all generalization, but typically they just they just accept things and move on. They don't look for meaning in everything like sometimes we do. And that, I noticed that, and I kind of started to question myself. Like, I do that. I do look for meaning in everything, and. I'm not saying it's good or it's bad. It's just interesting, the different habits that we all have and where we come from and our own perspectives. And it's all very, very intriguing to me. So let me know down below if you do look for things like that, or if you just kind of accept things for what they are. Because sometimes I torture myself over me not figuring something out. And this coming week on the channel, I do have an interview with author P.L. Stewart. He's the author of A Drowned Kingdom. I don't have anything until next Sunday. I have an interview with Peter McLean. He's the author of Priest of Bones and the War of the Rose Throne series that I'll be reading coming up probably this month or next month. And we also have a More Than a Vampire discussion with author Joseph Carroll and Stacy from Stacy's All Booked. It's not too late to jump into that. I think Joseph had thrown out there on our forum about offering free copies of anyone who wants to read it with us. It's a short book. It's a quick read. So it's open. The door's open for if you want to join us on that one. Had a lot of fun with that one too. It's a good vampire horror story. It's gearing up to be a long series. So excited to see what Joseph comes up with. Quick reminder that the short story Saturday book of the month is a collection of obsessions by Michael R. Fletcher. It is a dark fantasy, grimdark, I think it's safe to say, collection full of stories. Some of them are connected to Beyond Redemption. And so we are meeting with Michael R. Fletcher at the end of the month. I think it's February. I can't pronounce February still. 26th. It's a Saturday. We're meeting with him to discuss each story from the collection. So let me know down below what you're up to. Let me know what you've been watching, reading, listening to. This week we are caught up on Peacemaker, and James Gunn is kind of hit or miss for me. I think Suicide Squad that he wrote about a year ago, I enjoyed it. It was over the top. James Gunn, it was, that's just his MO. It is crude, and this crude humor and this kind of, I thought they reined him in a little bit on Suicide Squad. On Peacemaker, he just goes all in, and I think it's a little too much James Gunn at times. It's a little much. It's little too much James Gunn for his own good. And I had also been talking with Daniel Barnett about going to StokerCon in May, and we finally made plans to go to StokerCon. So I will be going to StokerCon in Denver in May. I'm driving up there, and I'll be hanging out with Daniel Barnett for a few days to enjoy the convention and hopefully meet some of you if you're all going to be there. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. I need to look up on how to record a fun vlog. I'm not good at that kind of thing. I've never really tried it. The times I have turned out really terrible, and I never kind of pursued it. But I'll have to find a way to record something fun to show you all how it went and the experience. If you would like to connect with me, I can be found on our website. It's creepingdeath.org. We have forums, blogs, videos. What else do we have there? Some other stuff that I can't remember off the top of my head. I am also now on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Where else am I? Vero. So I'm on all those platforms now. I am also having my channel artwork redone. I'm having it hand drawn by an artist that is. I've gotten some sneak peeks at it, and it is looking really, really, really cool. It's funny because I told him what I had in mind, and he sent me some kind of rough drafts, like, this is what I've been working on, let me know how it looks. And it's almost exactly what I had in my mind for what I wanted. So I just kind of gave him a brief description, and he just went with it. So that should be done hopefully here soon. But if you notice, I haven't changed some of my stuff on some of my social media platforms, but that'll be coming here soon. So looking forward to that. So thanks all of you for coming by. I always appreciate your time. I know you're busy and have a lot going on, so it's tough to squeeze in time for this kind of thing. So thanks for coming by and watching. Let me know down below what you're up to. I always like to interact and hear about you and how you're doing. Let me know too if you've had COVID and you found that you had some symptoms lingering, because it's been almost a month for me, and I'm feeling better every day, a little bit better. I mean, I don't feel bad. There's certain times of the day where I feel like it hits me like I'm really tired, or I'm just feel like kind of not too good, and I still have a little bit of congestion, but I feel a lot better. But it seems like it's hanging out a lot longer, and I hear some people experience this. So if you have experienced that, let me know how long it took you to get over those nagging symptoms. So hope you all have a great day. Hope you all have a great week. I will have a few videos up this week. I think I'll have the Edge of the Breach review and also my interview with P.L. Stewart later this week. So hope you all enjoy those. I will talk to you soon. Have a great weekend. Have a great day. And conquer Monday, you conquer the week.